this internet, including YouTube. We can get that going soon. Setting up the stream now. Please don't start building. I know we normally try to start the building as close to the hour as possible, but I have been working on some behind-the-scenes stuff for the Gamers for Giving event. We are going to be announcing the schedule for the Gamers for Giving event at this time, 8 days from now, so March 29th. And I've been coordinating with all the other hermits and other guests for the announcement event for that this morning. So I'm running a little bit behind, but it's because the future is bright. So yeah, y'all come back next Sunday. I need to put that on my stream calendar. Actually, I'm realizing. Also, you'll notice there's no music while we're getting the stream set up. That is because there will be a VOD. The folks who are on my Patreon server, the Elevenstorm Bleeding Edge server, deserve to have the opportunity to share what they did here today. And so that means no VOD. Other Elevenstorm news. You guys probably saw at the Minecraft Live today that there is a new Minecraft version, something like babies and babies, or I don't know. They always have two of the same thing. They're always alliterative, like chaos cubes or babies and bubbles or something. I don't know what it's called. The babies and bubbles one I think is coming out on the 24th. So this server, the Elevenstorm server, will be updating to the new version of Minecraft, being the Bleeding Edge server. I'm very excited about the new sulfur cubes. When they were like, this is a mob like nothing you've ever seen before in Minecraft, Badger Spanner and I were watching it, and I was just like, yeah, because unlike the magma cube, it's not a reskin of the slime, you know. And then they're like, because you can feed it things, and then it acts with different physics depending on what you feed it. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'm back in. Okay. Very hyped for that. But, so yeah, that'll be later on. But yeah, unlike some servers that are very mod dependent, the Bleeding Edge Elevenstorm server is always running the latest version of Minecraft. We're going to /weather clear, and we are going to game rule do weather cycle, or did they change the name of advanced time and advanced weather? Oh, yeah, advanced weather false. Game rule advanced time false as well. I'll remind me to change these back at the end of the build contest. So what we do on this server is each different outpost gets to host a different month's holiday parade event. I'm going to post a link in the YouTube chat about a delightful little thing that I cannot pronounce because it's Greek. 4581 Asclepius was a, large asteroid that almost hit the Earth. And so Near Miss Day celebrates that. We have our hosts here. The Emerald Chain, I believe, is the name of this outpost.
That is correct.
The Emerald Chain has actually tipped me $100. Thank you very much. Who says the Emerald Chain is proud to sponsor and host this first parade on the Elevenstorm server. So, yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's them, but it'd be really funny if one of the other groups tipped me $100 to say the wrong name. So let me just confirm that, because y'all have a fun sense of humor and like throwing hundreds of dollars at me. So, yeah, thank you very much to the Emerald Chain and anybody else who tries to imitate that. No trust. You know, I've learned on the internet not to just read everything they put in front of me without question. That can go sideways. Speaking of going sideways, I have rotated 100 degrees angular, $1 for every, or 1 degree for every dollar that has rolled in. And, yeah, so we are going to hand it over to the Emerald Chain. Do you want to talk a little bit about what Near Miss Day is after we fire the starting pistol for the build? In theory, everybody who's building here already knows what the parade float is. So I am going to pull up my phone And I'm going to put timer 1 hour and 0 minutes and build. And while we get folks starting on their builds, let's have Open Bag 2 of the Emerald Chain talk to us a little bit about what Near Miss Day is and why you picked this.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Joe has said, today's theme is near misses, both in honor of National Near Miss Day, when the asteroid 4581 Asclepius passed within
Asclepius.
0.005. I think you said it right.
Asclepius. I got to practice. Asclepius. Okay.
It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally easy to say. Asclepius.
So so this asteroid passed within 0.005 astronomical units, which is an AU is the distance between the Earth and the Sun. So it passed within 0.005 AU of Earth's atmosphere. March is also the month that contains Purim, both this year and next year, which is a Jewish holiday that commemorates when Jews living in Persia were nearly executed by Xerxes I, only for that order to be countermanded at the last minute, thanks to the bravery of his secretly Jewish wife, Esther. So if you've ever heard of the Book of Esther, that's what we're referring to. So
you can also find this in VeggieTales.
If
the Bible isn't your thing, you can watch an artichoke tell this story to you. Or is it no, it's an asparagus.
I've never seen VeggieTales.
Okay. They're not a sponsor. But sorry.
Anyway.
I'm interrupting. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Each parade float should commemorate an event, historical, fictional, mythological, or religious, or combinations of those four, in which disaster was narrowly averted, hopefully at the last minute. To be clear, we're talking explicitly about events where little or no harm was done, not events of survival through adversity. So, for instance, marking the inadvertent release of a very luckily non-fissile nuclear weapon from a U.S. Air Force B-47 as it flew over Mars Bluff, South Carolina. That's a near miss. But commemorating how cheetahs came within a hair width of extinction, with all modern cheetahs descending from just 6 individuals, that is not a near miss.
No, because that was a near miss is not something bad happened and we recovered. It's we avoided something bad happening just barely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have not built a full parade float, but what I have done is added a little snack table with traditional Purim foods. You've got your brisket, you've got some berries, you've got some potato products, because there were lots of potatoes in Mesopotamia, I'm sure. And then you also have
potato in
these...
Mesopotamia. Is that
exactly?
A thing? Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia. Sorry.
Exactly. And then
so
here
fun.
we have these 3-cornered pastries, which are called Hamantaschen, which are traditionally eaten on Passover to celebrate the fact that the guy who wanted the Jews dead instead got his head chopped off. And that guy, whose name was Haman, had a 3-cornered hat. So, we Jews, we love celebrating people getting beheaded who tried to kill us, I guess. This is getting kind of political and timely. And I don't feel great about it. So anyway.
I would prefer we not celebrate violence, even if it's justified. But I also respect that sometimes these traditions come from a time where violence might have been less avoidable. And, I'm not here to dismiss anyone's traditions. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's also worth noting that historians agree that the actual event of Purim almost certainly did not take place as listed Xerxes I or Ahasuerus as referred to in Jewish mythos, I guess. Xerxes I existed. Also could have been Xerxes II, I think. But it's unclear whether he married a Jewish woman who was secretly Jewish, and there's definitely no evidence of an evil advisor with a three-cornered hat trying to have all the Jews executed. So, um, completely made up mythology, maybe, but still has significance, I guess. I don't know.
Is this
In
the
Israel, it's
earliest
the Jewish
recorded
Halloween.
story of a corrupt vizier? You know, is this the precursor to Disney's Aladdin in that way?
You know, I've always read it that way. I am not a historian, nor did I. Am
I
I an
do
expert in
have a
comparative
history
religions?
degree. It's just not in this time period. So
Yeah, exactly.
So I am a historian. I'm just helpless, worthless, useless. All of the things. Unhelpful.
Unhelpful. There we go.
Yeah, I'm just.
Joe,
I
you are
am a
nothing if
historian.
not
I just can't
unhelpful.
help you.
Yeah.
Can't help you, bud.
So anyway, just wanted to also point out that we have a few parade attendees who are shaking these noisemakers.
I love the
It's just
buff arm.
traditional.
Does this kid bowl? Is that why this is their bowling ball and they've got their one beefy arm?
No. That's a Hamantaschen that they've taken a bite out of.
Oh, I thought. Okay, so it looks like this is the upper arm, and then there's the forearm, and then they've got the bowling ball. And so because they only bowl right-handed, that arm is just hyper developed, and the other arm is just chill.
I mean, look, I don't know this kid.
Do-
For all
do
I
you-
know,
do
he
you
could
see
be a
it,
champion
though?
bowler.
Like, I'm not-
I do see it. I do see it.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, the noisemakers are called groggers. Yes, I am a lapsed Jew, but I'm not that lapsed.
The
So.
noisemakers are called what?
Groggers.
Groggers.
Yes.
Hey,
they're not
real
making
quick,
noise,
open
though.
bag 2. I gotta welcome the Cub fan raiders. Howdy, y'all. Joe Hill's here. I was gonna say Joe Hill's raid here, but I guess it's a Cub fan raid here. I am currently hanging out with Open Bag 2, who is the creator of the Emerald Chain Outpost on my Patreon server. One of the things we do every season of my Patreon server, at least for the Bleeding Edge server that I run, is we let folks create outposts that have a main street, and then they get to pick a month to host a parade in. So, this fella here, well, down there, somewhere, there he is. Open Bag 2 created the Emerald Chain Outpost here, and is hosting a near-miss day parade float build contest. If you click the pinned link, you can learn about the asteroid that barely missed the Earth, came super close, that they celebrate on near-miss day. He's also talking about how the Jewish holiday of Purim occurs near this time, and Purim was also a near-miss because Xerxes didn't murder everybody, which is super great. I'm generally anti-murder in every context. So, real quick, I'm going to zoom out, and some of the other outposts here, we've got a bridge-based outpost that is a scale. We've got a mushroom-based outpost out that way. We've got a bunch of other outposts in the distance. Like that one's like a bunch of spaceships. Those are pretty cool. That one is just somebody's base with a big wheel. This is one of my Patreon patron servers. This is the Bleeding Edge one. One of my Patreon servers is more chill, and that's called the Vanillish server. That's run by Yurgi. One of my servers is modded. That's run by Toxic Glitter. And this one, the Elevenstorm server, is the Bleeding Edge server, where on March 24th, when they drop the new Minecraft update, we are rolling. We are not one of those groups that, at least on this server, it's like, if you want to play with the new blocks, or the babies, or whatever, you got it. Like, we are not going to wait for Sodium. We are not going to wait for the voice chat, or replay mod, or Lightmatica. This server moves forward. This is the Bleeding Edge server. And so anyway, all of the outposts that people spent the first 3 months building on the server, we had a big contest last month to determine who got their first pick of holidays. And Open Bag 2 of the Emerald Chain Outpost selected this month to host the Near Miss Day holiday, or Near Miss Day parade. We've got a bunch of folks who have been building for about 9 minutes. Yeah, we got about 51 min remain. So 51 minutes remain. Everybody's coming out here and building parade floats, and they're going to explain what their theme is and talk about it and present their floats at the end of that hour. So if you're coming in from Cub and you're like, wait, Joe Hills, is he on Hermitcraft? Yes, I am on Hermitcraft. Just as a reminder, here's my YouTube. You can find my Hermitcraft videos there. I just had my Race 4 POV go live a couple hours ago. Cub, if you're still watching, man, I'm loving these Nautilus races, even though I'm arguably underperforming, which is, I'm going to say, I am putting in about 75 minutes to 90 minutes a week of practice time, and that's not enough. I can tell I'm getting better, but every other hermit is getting better faster than me. I am really enjoying it. Don't let the fact that I am not feeling discouraged. I want to let you know, just because I'm underperforming does not mean I'm feeling discouraged. It's one of those things where it's like, boy, that 75 minutes to an hour and a half is what I can afford to put into this right now. But I really enjoy the practice. I really enjoy the races. Yeah, and I was just telling my viewers, Cub, I know you weren't at the meeting on Thursday, so you might not know. We want to use your Nautilus racing course when we do the event on March 29th to announce the Gamers for Giving schedule. So those of you guys who are in the know already have set aside April 11th and 12th for the Gamers for Giving Hermitcraft event, right? So, but you haven't seen an actual schedule with all of the different events that we're going to be doing, all of the different fun activities and things like that. We are going to be announcing that schedule with, like, what time is Blood on the Clock Tower? What time is this or that? Like, there's all sorts of fun stuff. But anyway, yeah, there's going to be an MCC. We're going to be announcing that full schedule on March 29th, and we're going to have a bunch of guests joining us for that announcement. If you enjoyed the Hermitcraft World Tour we did last season, we're going to be doing something kind of similar. We're inviting the folks who are helping us out with the charity event to hop on the Hermitcraft server for a little world tour, and then the announcement of all of the scheduled items during the thing. Because the idea is so many hermits are going to be traveling for the big event. We needed to do our world tour and our announcement of the schedule like 2 weeks beforehand. So March 29th at about this time, like 20 minutes earlier than right now would be when that happens. And so Cub, I was going to say, one of the things we were talking about was, because we don't have as many mini games ready as we did last season for the big world tour, this one's going to be a little bit shorter, but we did want to have our guests do a Nautilus race if that's not going to get in the way of your plans. Would March 29th, would that be okay for us to bring a bunch of people on to come play a Nautilus race? The rough order of events is we'll do introductions, we'll do the world tour, we'll announce the schedule, and like for the schedule, like for example, Cleo's already said that there's going to be a Blood on the Clock Tower thing. So I'm going to use Cleo as an example here. So we would say, and at this time, 4 hours after the start of the event, or whatever, X number of hours after the start of the event, Zombie Cleo is going to be hosting a Blood on the Clock Tower game with these participants. And Cleo would say, yeah, I'm really excited to run Blood on the Clock Tower. So-and-so is going to be helping me run it. So-and-so is going to be playing, that sort of thing, right? And so it's going to give everybody a chance to get hype about all the individual pieces that will make up the Gamers for Giving weekend. And so after we do that announcement, we'll say, okay, let's have some free time. Let's do some mini games. Oh, wait, there's only one. It's Cub's Nautilus race. I hope he's not mad because he didn't show up at the meeting, so we kind of decided that without him. Yeah. So anyway, Cub, if you're still there, just let me know if you're furious with me or if you need help getting that ready in some way. Let me know. I'm happy to help. But you weren't there, and we all agreed that you have the best minigame on the server. So if we have a bunch of guests on, we're going to want to take them to the Nautilus racing course. Lady Oolong says, I'm impressed that you guys are not only getting out the schedule in advance, but you have a date to get the schedule out in advance. Y'all are learning. This is one of the reasons I've been streaming less, and I've been working behind the scenes to get all this coordinated. It's going to be a really fun time. Cub fan says, should be fine. Awesome. Thank you, Cub. I'm glad. B. Kirby says via LinkedIn, right? Man, LinkedIn actually isn't terrible sometimes. I just saw something on LinkedIn the other day where I was like, I asked my spouse, I was like, hey, did you know that Saul Williams from the movie Sinners, he plays the pastor Jedediah, and he's also like a slam poet who's done a bunch of music. Do you know Saul Williams is going to be in town on Monday? And Badger's like, what? He's worked with Trent Reznor. He's amazing. Can we go? And I'm like, yeah, I think we can go. But yeah, and I'm like, do you want to know how I heard about this? And Badger's like, how? Heard it on LinkedIn. Like, man, following a bunch of professors in my local city on LinkedIn has been a killer way to learn about. LinkedIn is not a sponsor, by the way. Yeah, hashtag not sponsored. But like, connecting with people in my community they used to post a lot of stuff on Twitter, and Twitter stopped functioning in that way. So yeah. Anyway. Doc's Wackashulker is also ready. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's a second mini game then. The Ogria says, I can't stand LinkedIn anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of very pro AI posts there, which I do not enjoy. But yeah. So we've got a few floats that are starting to take shape. Our builders are 15 minutes into the 1 hour allotted time here. But yeah. Anyway, so let me go. Now that I feel like I've talked to Cubs chat enough, I can go bother. Open Bag 2, are you still nearby? Open Bag 2 is the one who hosts this, is hosting this parade float in his outpost. Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about how this kid down here, for the context of the viewers, this kid I thought was a bowler who has one big beefy arm because he bowls so often, but you were saying this is actually one of these tri-corner...
Hamantaschen, yeah, that's right.
Hamantaschen, okay.
So yeah, they're three-cornered pastries with filling inside. I think it's usually plum, but in this case, ender plum?
Ender plum, yeah. Drake asks, is this the season 11 seed? Yes. Every year my Bleeding Edge server runs on the same seed as the Hermitcraft server, so that way my community members who want to have that experience of playing in the terrain that we do will get to do that. Now, of course, because of the number of players on the server, which right now we've only got like 10 or 11, but I think there's something like 150 people whitelisted on the server. Not everybody gets to build where all the hermits are. Yeah, Magenta Avocado says, we made our own terrain just for this outpost. Yeah, these guys built this crazy floating island here. Yeah, not everybody gets to...
It was all Magenta, by the way.
Well, excellent building there, Magenta. I love how this has come together. And, yeah, you've got the complimentary platform out that way. CubFan135 writes, impressive island. So that's high praise there, Magenta. If you're impressing CubFan, you're doing something right. I'm going to real quick game mode spectator so I can fly faster.
Oh, Joe,
yeah.
if you wanna head to one of the other outposts,
yeah, real quick. I'll come back to your stuff shortly. I just want to show off the seed real quick. So for folks who don't know, the Hermitcraft seed was selected partially because it has this incredible mushroom island. And they have started developing that here on our Patreon server. But most of the Hermit's bases are actually to the southwest of that, I believe. If I had... Or south... Sunrises in the east. So, yes, southeast of that, yeah. Why are these chunks not loaded? This is getting into the area that, like, should be, I think, the part that the Hermits actually... Or did I misread the island? I turned off daylight changes, so I'm now disoriented because I can't see the sun moving across the sky, and that's how I orient myself. Sniper Rose says, or Sniper Moose says, why are you sideways? Oh, yeah, the camera rotates 1 degree angular for every $1 that people tip. If people want to show Cub Raiders, or apparently Carnassus Raiders, how the face camera rotations work, feel free to tip now. Carnassus, Carn, thank you so much for the Chaotic Mango raid. We were just flying around my Patreon server. They're doing a parade float build contest over at the Emerald Chain Outpost, all the way over there. And I was just going to fly around some of the other outposts real quick. so that people could kind of see what other people on the server were doing. These parade float build contests, everybody has an hour to build a parade float around the theme of that month's event. So for October, somebody might choose Halloween, or for December, somebody might choose Christmas. For March, Open Bag 2 has selected Near Miss Day, which is in honor of when the asteroid 4581 Asclepius barely missed the Earth. So that's kind of a weird theme for a parade, but, you know, you do you guys. So, for example, this is going to be another one of our outposts here. But each outpost is required to have a main street that a parade can be hosted on. This is the city of... I keep wanting to say Triste, because that's Spanish for sad. But it's Italian, so it's pronounced differently, like City of Trieste. Is that Italian? I don't speak Italian. This is why I don't go to Starbucks. I keep going in there and I stopped going in there. I used to order, like, could I have a large coffee? And they'd be like, do you mean, and then the subtitles would say, like, speaking Italian. And I'd be like, I don't know. Give me a big coffee. And they're like, what kind of coffee? I'm like, drip coffee. I want a black coffee in a large cup. I don't need anything else. Yeah. So, like, yeah. So anyway, I've stopped going to Starbucks, and it's left me with a poor impression of the Italian people on the whole. No, I'm just kidding. But it has given me a poor impression of the Italian language, that every time that speaking Italian comes up, it's somebody trying to boss me around about how to order coffee. No, the Italian people are great. Sorry. But yeah. I was pleased when I went to Seattle and didn't have to go to Starbucks. I thought that that was going to be compulsory, but I was able to dodge that. Yeah. So anyway, this is another one of the outposts here. If people want to type in chat, I don't have the names of them all memorized. But yeah, this is another one of the outposts, and their parade route, is that the parade route, or is that some sort of farm mechanism? It might be. That's the Reef Expedition, yeah. So basically, folks on the server either break into groups. That's the Terracotta Farm. Okay, yeah. Their parade route is going to be on top of this ship for their parade. And then their counterpart down here is going to have their parade route be in the shadow of the ship, I think. So that should be cool. I love the octopus here they've got connecting the two. But yeah, we've got so many talented people on our Patreon server here. This is the Elevenstorm Bleeding Edge server. I call it a Bleeding Edge server because we update the jar when Mojang puts out a new jar. We don't wait for sodium, lithium, replay mod, any of that stuff. Apparently this is Dottie's area, Copperhaven. Okay. So... over here, this was the winner of our outpost build contest, I believe, which is looking awesome over here. Created... oh my gosh. I am blanking on every name. How am I so bad at this? Mantua Maker. Yes, I was like, who made this? It's an M name. I know who made this. They're good at making things, and they have an M name. Mantua Maker. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Wait, the winner was Alfheim?
You're good. My stream feed is just like 15 seconds behind.
Oh, yeah. You know you can watch the feed directly through Discord if you're in this call, and it's not behind that.
Oh.
So that way you can see what I'm... Yeah. So one of the things we were going to do, actually, is we need to move the... we need to move... Where's your world spawn location? Open Bag 2. We need to move... one thing we're doing is every time a town hosts a parade, the world spawn goes to that outpost's agreed upon world spawn location. Is it halfway between you and your counterpart outpost over here?
It is. I would encourage you to come back to where I am because I think there's a really fun way for you to get there.
Okay, let me
off.
I will come back and I'll switch over to survival mode. Survival. And I will not die. Ta-da. So, yes. I still think this kid looks like he's got a beefy arm from bowling, but it's adorable and I love it. So,
All right, so Joe, follow me. We're going to go into the parking garage,
okay.
past the nether portal, and follow the sounds of the happy ghasts.
Follow the sounds of the happy ghasts. Oh boy. Acoustic tracking is not my strong point. Whoa,
So
okay,
hop on.
Okay.
And we're going to take this happy ghast rail over to Scales Plaza, which is where we're going to be setting spawn.
Happy ghast
And
rails to you until we meet again. Happy ghast rails to you, all of my Minecraft friends. Hey, real
so
quick,
I'm going
let
to
me...
do my best. Yeah,
Oh,
go
I was
ahead.
going to say, real quick, do you mind if I thank Maria for tipping 5, who says, if you have a moment, Minecraft Live revealed ball mobs and mentioned making pinball is possible now. Would love to know how you feel about that. I'm curious to see if it's actually capable of running pinball, but I know it's going to be amazing for a ton of minigames. This is the most excited I've personally been for an announcement in years. Like, they've done a lot of cool stuff where I'm like, oh, that's cute. I'm going to use that. But, like, I saw those ball mechanics for the sulfur, and the fact that they have different physics depending on what you feed the sulfur cubes, this is literally game-changing. This is going to unlock so many options. Great Scales Plaza. Cubs called it the golf update, says Burke. Yeah, this is going to be the best. I'm more excited about this than any update in years. Okay. So where do you want me to set the world spawn?
We're going to just drop down this hole.
Okay.
And spawn is going to be right here.
Okay, so I am going to stand here. Set world spawn, tilt. But yeah, one thing that I wanted to do... Oh, it doesn't do tilde. It just does, like, the actual coordinates. Is that actually right? Is that where I'm standing? Hey, that's new. Okay. But yeah, one thing that we're doing this year is instead of having world spawn be one area that gets kind of built up and then everything gets laggy because there's a million armor stands and stuff, we're rotating the world spawn between all the different outposts so that every outpost creator has an opportunity to welcome new members to the server at a different time of year and point them off in a new direction to explore and start their bases. Because I found having the same world spawn for 18 months, everything gets super centralized, and when people first join the server, there's not necessarily, like, good nearby empty spaces to set up. Not that you being in the middle... let me switch back to spectator real quick. Not that you being in the middle of the ocean here, there's, like, a lot of good immediately claimable areas, but actually, no, there's some open greenery and stuff out this way. People could go claim something on these little islands. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, a server that's going to be up for as long as Hermitcraft 11, which we have no idea, you know, that could be years, you know, that there's a rotating opportunity for folks to set up. Vinsho Ken says, did you say it as the block you were looking at or standing on? I mean, honestly, I don't know. I just used autocomplete. So, I don't know, Vin. Hop on the server and fall off a cliff and see where you show up. That is... You can be part of the solution here. It was the block you were looking at. Grumble. Okay, well, let me... So, if that's going to be the case... That's why it auto-completed. Okay. So, let's try that again. / set world spawn. Tilde, or tab. Okay. Done. Next problem.
So, Joe, are you hungry at all? Because you feel free to grab some soup from over here.
Okay, let me switch back over to survival mode. I think I have some room in my inventory. Because this is a server where I'm, like, an admin, I obviously have a bunch of stuff you wouldn't normally have, like light blocks and end portal frames. Oh. How suspicious is this porridge?
That porridge comes straight from from our partner Plaza over at Shroomy Hollow. They have a bunch of lovely villagers who, yeah, that soup will fill you right up.
Oh, it gives its health boost, it looks like. I saw a little red sparkle. That's fun.
Saturation, or it should be
Saturation.
saturation.
Ah. Very cool.
We also, so yes, with the shifting world spawn, the idea is going.
Oh, hold on. If Vin is actually
yeah.
here to commit to the bit, we're gonna stand here and we're gonna watch this platform. If Vin spawns below the floor here, then we'll know we have to move it up a block. Of course, we need to. There we go. Vin fell from a high place. Now Vin's probably gonna break their bed and then do it again, is what I'm guessing. Because Vin definitely didn't show up here.
Are you on the roof? Interesting.
How high up did Vin go?
I really thought that you could set world spawns underground.
You definitely... Well, actually, can you? Now that I'm thinking about this, it might go to the highest point. Okay, so Vin is definitely still above. So Vin is way up. Well, we know that now. You're not the only group, I think, that did their world spawn underground. So we might need
we were careful. We were careful to make sure. Sorry, go ahead.
We might need a sign that says, like, you know, portal hub this way or whatever. Yeah, I see you do have some signs. Well, we learned something today. Thank you. Thanks for your support.
Thanks, Vin.
Number of deaths, 1. Don't worry, it's not on the scoreboard. Okay, well, we learned something.
So, Joe, you were talking about the fact that spawn is going to be moving. We do want to set up some measure of continuity, both in directing people towards our original, our communal area, which is Copperhaven, and also just preparing materials that can be passed from spawn to spawn.
Mm-hmm.
I have started that already with a welcome book, which I actually don't have a copy because it's out for copy editing right now. But we also have a shops directory where anyone who wants to can list their shops and where to find material. It should all be in alphabetical order. So anyone who's like, oh, I could really use, I don't know, ender pearls, can flip over and see if anyone's selling ender pearls.
Well,
no one is
question
yet,
about alphabetical order, though, is right now, dried gas is page 15. Frog lights is page 16. If somebody did want to create an ender pearl shop or an end stone shop or something,
how do they to page 2?
Turn to page 2. Okay.
Sorry. Yep. So the easiest way to do that is with the, again, not sponsored, Scribble mod available on Modrinth. Although who knows whether it's going to be available in 3 days, which allows you to very easily edit books.
So it would actually let you add a new page?
Yep, it lets you add a new page in the middle, do what you want. This is not a signed book, so you can take it and edit it yourself.
Interesting. Okay.
So actually, let me go ahead and do that right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that was even an option. This is one of the advantages of having a server like this, is that there's, like, you know, like I said, over 100 people whitelisted who are messing around with things that I don't have time to keep on my radar, and then I'm just like, wait, what? So that's good to know.
Enchanted Books is definitely out of order. I gotta fix that.
Yeah. Lady Oolong says, Mojang recognized spawning on top of things as a bug because of issues with people spawning on the nether roof. Might be worth checking if it's in the bug fixes for the upcoming update. Well, we'll find out on the 24th when that update goes live. We're going to be pushing that live here as well. And we'll see how that goes. It's going to be big day. I think this is our first actual Minecraft update since we launched the server, right? Did we have an update?
No, it was second.
Second, okay. Well, I'm excited about the name tag options. Being able to name tag things easier is going to be huge. But, yep.
Yeah, there we go. All updated.
Oh. Okay. So you actually moved a few pages around. That's crazy. Well, that's wild. I did not know that was an option. Just as a reminder, I'm about to give everybody a 25-minute warning. It's actually 25 minutes, like 30 seconds. But so, yeah, right now we are hanging out with OpenBag2, whose Emerald Chain Outpost is hosting the Parade Float build contest. And I'm going to switch my game mode back to Spectator. Unless you had something else to show me over here. I want to go check on the Parade Float contest progress.
Yeah, go on over.
Woo.
I'll meet you there.
Dun 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 dun. Boom boom boom. The scale that folks build at it's wild what you can do in Minecraft if you don't have the pressure of editing and releasing episodes. Like, I always think, like, wow, Hermitcraft, we get a lot done. And then I see what people who take the amount of time that we spend playing and then also spend the same amount of time not editing videos and instead just making stuff. It's like, wow. Nawon in particular says, can't wait for my baby axolotl aquarium. Oh, yeah, that'll be fun. Whoa, almost intersected that block. Okay, so we've got our 4 parade floats still under construction. When they're not quite finished yet, I like to think about what each float might be. My guess on this one is that this is going to be one of the chase scenes from a movie. I'm trying to think of movies with famous car chase scenes. There's The Matrix 2. There's Back to the Future 2. There's probably some movies with car chase scenes that aren't sequels. But yeah. So my current guess for this is Back to the Future 2. Okay, my current guess for this one. This seems to be some sort of vessel. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of famous vessels. There's the Gatekeeper and the Keymaster from Ghostbusters, so this might be one of them. But we'll have to come back in 25 minutes and figure that out. Let's see. We've got a whale and a boat. I don't know. This might be the story of Jonah, or it could be something from Moby Dick, or it could be something from SeaWorld. That really looks a lot like Shamu or Free Willy, so who knows? And then back here, we've got some sort of truck that looks like it might be owned by the Munsters. So, yeah, Blues Brothers had a good chase scene. Yeah. So, current best guesses are Blues Brothers, Ghostbusters, Free Willy, Munsters. In 20 minutes, we'll find out if any of those guesses are even close to correct. Yeah. But yeah, this is a really fun build. I'm really impressed by just the scale and the ingenuity. Bum, bum, bum. It's got a fun hovering city vibe to it. So while we let those parade float build contest builders work on their progress or work on their parade floats, we're going to go ahead and do a quick pop in of some other areas. We've got this fantastic mushroom themed platform over here that we've already looked at a little bit. Looks like that might be somebody's little fortress with a lighthouse. That's cool. That's Swanee's base. Gotcha. Yeah. So in addition to these huge outposts that host the parade float build contests, individuals are allowed to just... What is happening? Oh, it's because I'm switching to the pale oak biome. The sky, everything gets dark. Oh wow, that's a shift. That is a shift. But yeah, let's fly over this way. So yeah, individuals on the server can still have like, you know, your straightforward, nice little base. You don't have to do one of these huge outposts. But the huge outposts are a way to bring the community together around these parade float build contest events. Quill says, fun fact, the Shroomy Hollow log road burned down recently. Oh, that reminds me, Open Bag 2, what was the request for a rule change that people wanted out of this? Like,
Yes. So we are requesting we are requesting heads to lay down in Dream 2. So number one, we are requesting that when you kill a player or when a player has an experience with rockets for themselves, that that player then drops their head, which will allow us to have custom mini blocks on the game in the game. Going along with that, we're hoping for mini blocks and more mob heads, the data pack. We are then also hoping, with encompassed in this theme, to have multiplayer sleep threshold set down to one player, so one player can just sleep for the whole server, even when there's 10 of us online.
Okay. So I think that I mentioned, well, real quick, does anybody know who this like cloudy iceberg area is? This is Magenta Avocado. So those are my clouds. This is my base. Okay, cool. This was not here last time. I just wanted to shout out Magenta Avocado for having a cool base concept before I address the Billowing Veil. That's a great name, Magenta. This is a really fun little place. So I will say the for the parade float build contest, folks can ask for what they want, but they're not necessarily going to get it. I'm going to say that my ruling is the 2 head things will go through as soon as possible after the 24th update. I'm not going to temporarily enable those data packs for 3 days and then have them go away, right? We'll get those integrated into the server as soon as possible with the Babies and Bubbles update. So with the sleep percentage thing, that's going to be a separate contest. What we're going to do for that is the Elevenstorm server started off as a merger of the old Bleeding Edge server and the old Everstorm monthly server. What we're going to do is the single-player sleep percentage is going to be determined with a contest on the Everstorm server. I just today got the data pack from the Skyblock Kingdoms people. Vintage Applesauce was kind enough to send that along to me. Apparently, the reason I couldn't find it was I thought it was a resource pack, so I was searching the resource pack part of Modrinth, not the data pack part. So, anyway, Avid MC and Howziki, or it might be Howzy Kentucky, made this thing that I'm going to link here. I am going to spin up the new Elevenstorm server with this data pack, and folks will be able to compete in a fishing contest, and the winner of the fishing contest will get to determine the single-player sleep percentage, or the player sleep percentage for the Everstorm server, for the Elevenstorm server. The Elevenstorm and the Everstorm will remain linked in odd ways throughout the season, and so yeah, I feel like a fishing contest on a hardcore world could be a lot of fun for people. And if people are like, uh-oh, I don't want so-and-so to win, I mean, I'm probably, I'm just going to say up front, I'm going to turn PvP off, but even if PvP is off, there are ways for, you know, sometimes things happen, you know. So if you want to win this and choose something unpopular, you might want to keep that close to your chest so that you don't get murdered while fishing. Also, that's a way to discourage AFK fishing. I know that some of the people in the Skyblock Kingdoms thing were AFK fishing a lot, but on a hardcore world, you really can't do that because you could get mobs, you could get creepers, you could get other players dumping lava near you. You know, all sorts of stuff could happen. Lady Oolong says new Everstorm on April 1st. The new Everstorm is going to be sooner because I don't know that this data pack is going to work with the March 24th update. So we're going to use the current version of this. Quill Lava says, oops, lava? Or actually, technically, Quill Any says, oops, lava? Yeah, so we're going to have the April Everstorm is going to launch in the next few days. I'll post on the Discord as soon as it goes live. If you're not part of my Patreon, let me go ahead and post a link. $5 a month gets you Discord access. $10 a month gets you access to all these Minecraft servers I'm talking about. But yeah, if you were like, I want to play a hardcore fishing world, that sounds cool. Yeah, consider signing up for the Patreon. But yeah, I am very excited to get that going for you guys. I wanted to have that up about a week and a half ago, but I just didn't have I didn't know where to find it. Apparently, I kept checking. You know, they when we originally talked about it, they were like, it's held up in Modrinth review. I'm like, cool. Well, whenever it goes live, I'll grab it. But I didn't realize it had gone live because I was looking in the wrong place. Like a hyper-competent individual. Woo. TNT, wind charges, getting pushed around. Yeah, all sorts of accidents can happen, even if PvP is off. So, yeah. But the folks who care deeply about the single-player sleep setting on this server, that will be determined by the winner of the fishing contest. That is the big prize for that. So yeah, it is just it's been so cool flying around. I love this little ghost city. Real quick, I wanted to shout out who made the ghost city again? Kindless, I think you worked on it, but who else? Was it just you? But yeah, creating these towers out of the layers of carpet for the ghost city gives it this hologram vibe that I just absolutely adore. I don't know if the YouTube and Twitch encoding is doing this justice as I go up and down, but like it looks so cool. Kindle says, yeah, we had a couple days to get it done. The other thing that's really cool about it is that as you fly toward each one, the centers go black. Like, these are the coolest optical illusions I've seen in Minecraft in years. Or possibly ever. So yeah, these towers, very interesting designs by apparently Kindle is solo. But yeah, lightweight and effective. Magenta Avocado says, my spouse who just got back from real life fishing is now suddenly very interested. Well, hey, I mean, the two of you can hang out together while you're fishing in Minecraft. Lady Oolong says, the effect is visible on Twitch enough to be impressive, at least. Yeah, if I stay still, it should be good, but I don't know how good it looks when I'm moving. But yeah, we got all sorts of talented folks on this server. So yeah. But yeah, the further you get from them, they just go gray. Because of the perspective change. But yeah, people pushing the limits of what you can do in Minecraft in exciting ways. You know, Hermitcraft, definitely, we try our best to push the limits. But like I said, there's only so many hours in the day, and we're also uploading videos and, you know, apparently flying to theme parks to check out the groundbreaking of Minecraft world and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah. It turns out being unencumbered by video production and theme park groundbreaking, you can do all sorts of wild stuff in this game. No one in particular confirms that they do fade nicely on YouTube. Swanee says unencumbered. Well, you have different encumbrances. I know the E in Swanee is for Swan Encumbered 1050. You're Swan Encumbered, not unencumbered. But yeah, like, look at how that looks from the distance. That's just spectacular stuff. But yeah, also huge shout out to Cortex for the Voxy mod, just making everything look awesome.
Yeah, I just got a message from Cortex's community that one of the mods that I develop, not a vanilla mod that I would recommend for here, but has a bug in it that makes it not work with the latest Voxy. So once
Oh,
we're done here, I will be patching that.
good to
But yeah,
know.
fantastic developer and fantastic community and fantastic mod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are in the process. I know there's a little bit of stutter as I'm flying around the server. We're in the process of bringing this into more of a self-hosted Mac Mini array setup so we can take advantage of the high single-core performance of the Mac Minis. However, that's been kind of set back by a bunch of infrastructure issues that Nashville has had since the latest winter storm. I don't want you all to think I have given up on that or forgotten about that. But basically, our entire city's infrastructure has just been flickering on and off throughout the day for months now. And, like, we're not having extended power outages or anything at this point, but just, like, you know, my ISP is just like, I mean, there's only so much we can do. Power's constantly being rerouted, poles are constantly being replaced, like, you know. So, yeah, I really want so yeah, that project is kind of on hold for right now, but we are going to be upgrading the hardware for all of my servers within the next few months. Just unfortunately not as soon as I would like, but yeah. But yeah, that's also been an incentive. I was already planning on streaming a little bit less, but I'm streaming way less during the morning and afternoons because during daylight hours is when they're doing most of the infrastructure work around town to repair stuff from the ice storm, especially on weekdays. So you have a lot more power flickers and internet outages and stuff. Once again, only briefly, but when you're trying to do a live stream, even losing internet for 30 seconds really sucks, right? You know, it was a really bad ice storm. We had a half-inch of ice on like every power line, every tree, every cable line. It was bad. And so, yeah, that's why I'm mostly streaming at night or on weekends at this point, primarily. But I'm also taking advantage of that extra time to do some moonlighting so I can raise some extra money without having to do things like promote gambling apps or Facebook. I don't know if you guys saw, was like, hey, we'll give you $1,000 to promote Instagram Reels. No one should install anything from Facebook ever. You don't need me to get paid to lie to you about how terrible they are. I would rather do other work on the side. So, yeah, I've had some opportunities. I know I've been living in Nashville for most of my life at this point. And, yeah, well, is it most of my life? Let's see. I moved here when I was 18, and I'm almost 40. Yeah. I've been living in Nashville for over half my life at this point. So I know all sorts of cool people around town, and I've been finding ways to pitch in with things where it's like, oh, this is something that helps the community. It has nothing to do with streaming. I'm getting to meet cool people and like legitimately feel like, okay, I'm not making a lot per hour here, but I'm getting something, and I'm helping, and I'm meeting cool people. You know, because every dollar that I make doing stuff in my community is a dollar that I'm not extracting from the Patreon community and the YouTube community. I know there's a lot of white collar layoffs right now, and I don't want anyone here to be like stressing out about like, oh no, because I lost my job, I have to cancel my Patreon, and that's gonna hurt Joe's community. That's like, I do depend on you guys financially a lot, but I'm going out of my way to make sure there's a little bit of a buffer with that extra time. I'm not just sitting around goofing off and playing Hades. Don't worry. But yeah, for operational security reasons, I'm not talking too much about the specific kinds of work I'm doing around town at the moment. But at some point, I'll chat with you guys about it. I do want to encourage anyone who's been stuck at home, like since COVID hit. Since I've been working at home since COVID hit in 2020, I feel like my world got very small. And just all of these disruptions have forced me to get out there and be around other people and feel like I'm helping with different things. It's been very good for helping me get kind of a mental reset. Like, there are things that I didn't realize from like a mental health standpoint that I was hung up on, and it's just, in general, leaving the house, good. Helping other people in your community, good. I recommend it. Uh, if that's the sort of thing you have the time and the ability to do, maybe look into it. Ask your friends locally, like, hey, do you know of anybody that might need a hand with anything going on I could pitch in on? So, yeah. We've got all 4 of our builds are still being built. We've got 5 minutes and 35 seconds left in the build contest. And then we're going to have the different parade float builders present what they've been working on. But yeah, this has been really cool. Oh, I didn't notice. Did that get built while I was flying away, or has that circle always been there? Yeah, this is definitely a Star Trek haul. Luna says, Chaotic Mango Raid and Cub Fan Raid? I have a few Joe Hills tabs open. Yep. Yep, welcome, Luna Cupcake. We are doing a Patreon server parade float build contest. We do about one of these a month. This month's is for Near Miss Day, celebrating when the asteroid 4581 Asclepius barely missed the Earth. Restar says, I just did my taxes and made significantly less at my hourly job last year than the year before. No wonder I've been feeling broke. Yeah, that's rough. Like, I know a lot of people are hurting right now. And, like, it's one of those things where I don't want to be one of those guys who sells out and does ads for gambling apps or says nice things about Facebook or Vladimir Putin. Both are terrible. They should voluntarily step down. Well, I mean, Vladimir Putin should step down from running this, Russia. I guess Facebook should just not. They could close their doors. Like, that's an option. Like, I'm done. I've been done with Facebook since I was working with when they first launched their API. They made some really terrible decisions that were just wrecking my day job. And my boss was furious at me all the time because the Facebook engineers would change things on a Saturday and everything would break. And they wouldn't pre-announce that they were changing things. Facebook has basically been dead to me for like 15 years. And I hope that it's dead to y'all too. You can uninstall Instagram and self-host your own photo portfolios. Strongly recommend that. But yeah, so I'm not taking money from Facebook or Vladimir Putin or gambling apps. Luna says, I've seen one of these parade float build contests before. They came out amazing, and I love the whole concept. Yeah, it's a great way to bring the community together once a month and do something creative and fun. Lady Oolong says, for all the good things about work from home, I think a lot of people who aren't committed introverts underestimate that interacting with people in person does matter. I've been working from home for the last couple of years. I actually do want to go back in office part-time. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, too, is it's like, I don't love commuting. I don't love a lot of things about, like, all of my previous white-collar work was psychologically and emotionally draining in ways that, like, doing other things that need to get done in the community lately have not been. Like, once again, I'm not going to talk too much about what I'm doing with the moonlighting stuff at this time, but it has a value to, like, there are jobs that need to be done in any community, and if you can afford to take one of those jobs on the side, like, okay, this isn't high paying, but it's really fulfilling and it's a great way to meet cool people, like, the work I'm doing on the side right now, I couldn't afford to live here with it. But it's just something where it's like, okay, this is a little bit of extra cash because the YouTube business has been like not quite or almost break even for like a couple years now. Where just every month I was getting to the end of the month and I was going crazy, going like, man, I'm just going to be $100 short on my bills. If I just stream more, then I won't be. It's like, so it's not like, oh man, I need to go get some high paying crazy job. It's just like, if I could just make a few hundred extra bucks a month doing something that helps people, then I just don't have to stress all month. When my kid is like, hey dad, do you want to, like for example, last night, um, my kid wanted to go to an amazing digital circus launch party with their friends and some friends of our family. And it's like, okay, so we'll go over to a friend's house and we'll all hang out and, have this watch party. And I didn't have to be constantly like, oh man, if I do that, I'm going to be $80 short at the end of the month. I can't cancel that stream. Like, sorry, kid. Like, no, okay, well, this other job that I'm moonlighting on, it's like, well, like I said, not great hourly pay, but very fulfilling. And it is just enough that I can afford to, like, say yes to stuff like that. You know? It's been really good for me in a lot of ways. And that is the end of the build contest. Pencils down. Stop building. We are going to find out what people are doing. Game mode game mode creative now. Okay. So we have 4 floats in the contest, and we're going to find out first what Amiable Amanita has been building. Amiable Amanita, do you want to share in text or voice what you've been up to?
I think I got Discord voice chat to work. Can you
It
hear
is
me?
working. I can hear you, and you sound great. So tell us what we're looking
Awesome.
at here.
Okay, so this is not necessarily a historical event,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something that everyone experiences, at least in the US or the rural US, every day. You have to get in your car and drive at other people that are moving heavy pieces of metal at you every day. And I feel like every time you leave your house and come back home, um, and you haven't hit anything or anyone, you have just experienced multiple near misses.
Okay. So this is about just the general concept of the automotive near miss.
Yes, I don't like to drive.
I love
It
that there's a bunny in the road that clearly one of the drivers is swerving to miss.
Yes, that's lucky.
Swanee says Chuckles in British Country Lane. Fantastic. I love these little car designs. The hood ornament with the wither skull is fun.
I
I
collected that myself, and I'm not a nether person, so I was very proud.
Excellent. Thank you, Amiable Amanita. Let's see what we've got down here. Alpaca-tastic, are you going to be presenting via voice or text?
Yes, I will be in voice. Um, yeah, so this is a 1/3 scale model of a Soviet submarine, the B-59, and I have a book here that I'm going to read from, so I remember all the details in the context of why this relates to a near miss. So the B-59 was the flagship of a detachment of Soviet subs that were in the Caribbean monitoring U.S. radio signals during the Cuban Missile Crisis. On October 27th of 1962, the B-59 itself was detected by a U.S. carrier group who began dropping grenades and practice depth charges into the water to get its attention and let it know that they knew that it was there and that they were wanting it to surface to identify itself. Now, at this point, the sub had been out of contact with Moscow for several days. They had a whole extra group of people on board to handle the radio intercepting equipment, and the HVAC system was out. So it was hot, cramped. There was very little drinkable water, and the sub was starting to fill with both carbon dioxide and diesel fumes. Um, so after about 4 hours of hearing explosions all around, and with 14 U.S. ships up on the surface above, The captain ordered one of the crew members to load the submarine's singular nuclear warhead into a torpedo tube to take out the carrier group and basically go down swinging, because he assumed at that point they were probably already at war. The ship's political officer agreed with his order, and on any other ship, that would have been it. Like their two orders would have been enough. But because this particular ship was the flagship of the detachment, they also had a chief of staff on board acting as their executive officer, and his approval was also necessary. His name was Vasily Arkhipov, and he was the one to say, "No, guys, I think we need to calm down and just surface and get back in touch with Moscow to get more orders." So they did, and avoided launching a nuclear missile that would have actually begun a nuclear war. At the Cuban Missile Crisis Havana Conference in 2002, this particular incident was recognized as the most dangerous moment of the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Vasily Arkhipov was recognized as having saved the world by countermanding the orders of the other two officers.
Well done, Vasily. Very cool. So we've got a real historic near miss here with this Foxtrot class submarine from Alpacatastic. Woo! Thank you, Alpacatastic. So as you can see, that submarine is on a parade float platform. These are all intended to be things that are mobile to some degree. Although this tank doesn't seem to have wheels. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. Swanee, can you tell me about the Ode to Those at Sea?
I can, Joe. Unfortunately, I've been a little busy with a certain large spaceship you may see above you.
No, this one. Is that you?
That is my doing. That's all gone up in the last week.
Wow.
And to your point about us having more time, no, I work a full-time job as well. So, like Matika's really good.
Apparently, yeah. I have not partaken, so I maybe don't appreciate it the way some of y'all do. That might also be a major difference.
Just a little bit. So this is also, because I was a little distracted, maybe not the best submission for a near miss ever. This is a little bit of a recreation of the launch used to escape the mutiny on the HMS Bounty, where there was a famous voyage, and the captain and part of the crew was kicked off this ship on the wrong side of the world, and the captain managed, in a small launch, no longer than this, it's actually slightly smaller than this scale to, sailed 3,000 miles all the way back to Tahiti, with nothing more than a sextant and a compass and a pocket watch, and managed to safely get all the crew home.
Very cool. So this might not meet the near miss qualifications of something bad almost happened and didn't. This is an overcoming adversity thing.
Yes, that would be right.
Okay.
I may have missed the target, but this was put together as a design in about 10 minutes before.
It's a very cool design, and it is a cool story. It's just thematically maybe a little bit off course, but still beautiful build, simple blocks to tell a fantastic story. I really like it, but yeah, just based on what Open Bag 2 told us at the beginning of like what the theme of this is, it may not be entirely yes, on track there. Yeah, it's a thematic near miss. You almost did exactly what you were supposed to.
Honorable fourth place is honorable fourth place.
Yeah. I was actually going to say, just so you guys know, since there's only 4 contestants, I'm probably going to only award a first place and then give everybody participation stuff. Because I feel awkward being like, here's first through third place. Like, first through third place is fine when there's 8 or 10 contestants. But first through third place, when there's 4 contestants, is a lot harder. You did just potentially make my job way easier by being disqualified in some ways, but I'm not going to actually disqualify you. I'm just probably only going to award one major
I'm okay with
prize.
being disqualified. I
I
don't even
think-
have wheels on my float.
Yeah, no, I did notice that didn't have float. Yeah, it's like this is technically not a float. You have floating elements inside of a stationary tank. It can't really move down the street. But I'm sorry. I know you're working hard on cool stuff. The spaceship does look great. But yeah, thank you, Swanee, for showing up and making something cool for us all to enjoy. And then let's see what we've got down here. Kindleus, what do we got in plot 8?
Well, Joe, having read the Wikipedia article about the near miss day, the thing that really stuck out to me was we only discovered that asteroid after it missed.
Mm-hmm.
So finding a near miss event where we only discovered it after the fact versus, learning about it after the fact, like that time the United States lost a nuclear weapon in,
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina, or the other time the U.S. lost a nuclear weapon. Those kinds of things, people knew about them at the time, they just didn't tell anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the asteroid, where it was like, this asteroid just barely hit us.
Yeah, or just barely
So-
missed us.
Yeah, barely missed us. So this is just, your everyday truck with a trailer transporting something, and you won't know if it was a near miss. Like, it could get into an accident, there could be a disaster, it could get home, but no one knows, and no one will know until well after the fact when they're like, oh, that would have been bad. Those things could have mixed.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the theme I went with for this one, where it was just an everyday thing that could have gone horribly wrong, but you don't find out about it until, well after the fact.
I will say the single worst interstate disruption I've seen in the United States interstate system, not like I've seen in the news, but like I was personally waiting in a car, was a truck full of flammable chemicals hit a truck full of ball bearings, and all of the steel ball bearing, burning chemicals were hot enough to fuse the ball bearings. And so there's just like all of this molten metal that just like covered the interstate and cooled. And they're just like, okay, what do we do with literally a truckload of metal next to these flaming vehicles? It was blocked for so long. But yeah, so yeah, it's what you're saying is resonating with me. I know that there's trucks full of chemicals and trucks full of ball bearings that don't smash into each other all the time, and that's way better than the alternative. So yeah. I really do like the design. Like I said, this reminds me of like something the Munsters would drive. You're speaking to my aesthetic here very well. So yeah, fantastic build. Here's what we are going to do. We are going to review real quickly. We have, once again, Amiable Amanita, whose platform also doesn't have wheels. Amanita volunteered that. I didn't notice it. I just assumed they were behind the banners, but no. The Amiable Amanita volunteered that info. It is a float. It hovers. Yes, but yeah. An automotive near miss. Then we have Alpacatastics, B-59, Soviet sub, Foxtrot class. We have Swanee's fantastic HMS Bounty survival tale here. It's a whale of a tale. The boat is afloat. It is afloat. You're right. If it wasn't floating, it wouldn't be boating. And we've got Kindleus's delightful little Munster-style truck with a trailer. Honestly, Kindleus, I will say, when you started your story, it imbued me with a real sense of dread. I was like, Kindleus has filled this truck with something that's going to break the server.
I did consider that, but blowing up an entire parade float area to make a joke is only funny when it's my area.
I understand that, but I was looking at it, and it's like you chose the most remote part of this disc. if you had spoken to Open Bag 2 about blowing a chunk out of this earlier, that's where you would have set that up.
Yeah, I would have said go for it.
Yeah. I'm looking at this and I'm like, there's going to be 8,000 mine carts full of TNT or something inside of this truck. I'm going to switch to spectator mode. So I will say, from an emotional standpoint, this resonated with me in a very powerful way.
You know, I'm glad you registered the existential dread of things we don't know about until after the fact.
The best threats are often implied and plausible. And what makes this so plausible is that is, if you were going to blow this up, you know, at a certain point, it's like, well, that is kind of close to Swanee's spaceship build, but like, you know, if this all went up in a day, it can go back up in another day. Like, but yeah, so this is fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff from everybody participating. Real quick, I'm going to /give everybody on the server right now some light blocks, which you can only get as a admin. So I have given 32 lights to 8 people. Artemis 8-Bit says, this is why you never show the monster. I know, right? I know. Fayechild says, spooky dread disguised as a truck. Now, I am going to give our honorable mentions. We've got 3 honorable mentions here. Give Amiable Amanita some netherite. Netherite ingot? Yeah. So, Amiable Amanita, a fantastic honorable mention here. Swanee, not disqualified, because you're right, part of that is floating, and if I'm a stickler for anything, it's high precision, obnoxious pedantry. So 5 netherite ingots to honorable mention Swanee, and 5 netherite ingots to honorable mention Kindleless. This is, once again, it was an evocative build. If you know, once again, we're not doing first, second, third, fourth. That was a strong contender, I will say, though. Our actual first place, though, grounded in history and with actual wheels, this is a plausible parade float. You could see people popping out of hatches and throwing beads at you. It is the incredible Alpaca-tastic. So we're going to /give Alpaca-tastic. Let's see, netherite. Bloop. Netherite ingot. And we're going to give you 10 of those. And we're going to also give Alpaca-tastic some extra lights. So there you go. Congratulations, Alpaca-tastic. I love this as a parade float. I love the narrative. It fits perfectly with Open Bag 2's theme. You were just firing on all cylinders, and it was a amazing build. So thank you to everybody on the server who showed up, everybody who built an outpost or a base or something cool on the server. This is our first parade float build contest of the Elevenstorm server, and we're going to have one a month basically for the next year. Looking forward to that. As a reminder to everybody in the Discord community who's watching, we are going to do a Discord community MCC watch after this. Scott Major recommended that all of the hermits who have never been in an MCC before watch today's MCC. So I don't want to like restream somebody else's footage. So we are going to just have that as an internal Discord watch party, not something on Twitch and YouTube. I am going to wrap up the stream on Twitch and YouTube, but let me post a few links before I do. Just as a reminder, my stream schedule is always available at joehills.net/soon. You can sign up for this Patreon. $5 a month gets you on the Discord. $10 a month gets you Minecraft server access. And I process those in a batch once per day. So it's a little late to get on this parade float build contest because this one's ending. But just so you know, that is an option you have. I recommend, because you get billed the day you sign up and the first of the month, maybe sign up closer to the first of the month than the 20th. But if you want to sign up today, you can. Just be warned, you will be rebilled again on the first of the month. So, okay, I am going to end the stream here, and this VOD is going to go out for anyone who wants to watch it. I do have a new Hermitcraft episode that went up a few hours ago as well. If you want to watch that instead of MCC, feel free. I know this is going to be the first MCC I've really sat down and watched. It's been on in the background some, but like I'm really focused on making sure that I'm not letting my team down. I'm going to be playing with Cam Bam. Wait, is this public knowledge? No, never mind. I should stop talking immediately. I don't know who I'm going to be playing with. Could be anybody. Could be Bam Bam from the Flintstones. Yes. Let's assume I said Bam Bam from the Flintstones. Thank goodness I didn't list everybody from the Flintstones. If I had also said I'll be playing with Betty and Wilma, that would ruin the whole team. That would ruin the whole team. Okay. Me trying to get through an entire VOD live stream without saying something I need to redact. You heard nothing. Okay, I'm shutting up and I'm going away. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, wait, we need to raid one of the POVs from the MCC. Duh. Twitch.tv/directory/following. We are going to raid Ollie the Orion Sound, who is on his first MCC of the season. When you get over there, our raid message is howdy y'all, Joe Hills raid here. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe